Hey you everybody, how are you all doing today, and welcome to the second video on the survey. And today's video is going to contain the results of the survey, so we'll be going through all the responses that everyone left. Not on an individual basis, we'll be going through them on an overall basis. So you will have pie charts of everyone's answers, and you will also have, where they were allowed to specify, you will also have a full list. I'm not going to read out the full lists, I'm just going to quickly run through them, so if you're interested in that, you can pause it and read for yourself. Alright, let's start. Alright, let's get to it. So first question was what the general track design should take after. This, to no surprise, SSX3 won out quite big. Tricky was runner-up, and there was a little bit of support for 2012's more realistic, actual real-life topography style-based tracks as well. For this one, once again, not going to read through them. There's a lot of support for Metro City, some for Ruthless Ridge. Many of them are going to be repeats with, that have been typed out differently. So if you want to know everyone's opinion on this, you can just pause the video and read. I've read through all of this on my own time. There's some interesting stuff in these, so I recommend checking them out. Other, as well. What game's character lineup should it have? There was a lot of support for SSX3 here as well. A decent chunk of Tricky, and actually rather surprisingly, a pretty good chunk for 2012 again. So there you have that one. General art style, Free as well. This is probably the most dominant answer Free has had so far, although 2012 once again had a significant minority, as did Tricky. That's been the case so far. This one, SSX3's menus and UI, was apparently preferable. I liked how they look in 2012. What game's controls? Once again, SSX3 wins out. Apparently, a lot of people, or some people also liked how it handled in Tricky and On Tour as well. 2012 is a close second. Well, not a close second, just a second. Game's tricks is pretty much a landslide. As you can see, SSX3 runs off with that in every sense of the word. Progression system was interesting. There was a good split here. As you can see, 2012 and 2000 Tricky and Blur are all tied. So that's interesting. SSX3 won out this one too, though. More in-depth, if you are interested in reading, you can pause and read if you want. There's a lot of interesting stuff to read here, by the way. A lot of people had good ideas for this and the online question. So I very much recommend pausing to read. Some people went really in depth, and I appreciate that a lot. Game soundtrack, a lot of support for SSX3 with On Tour being the minority here. Like the biggest minority. So there you have that. This one's going to be a different kind of illustration. As you can see, there's a lot of support for backcountry races, slopestyle with multipliers, Big Air. Big Air is the single most popular one, the most picked one. Out of 262 responses, 208 people want Big Air back. Super Pipe and Half Pipes. Nobody really seemed to like Slalom, Survive It. And Time Challenge had kind of a moderate amount of support. This, that's hidden here, by the way, is Shreds, the stuff from On Tour. So you can't see it, I don't know why it glitched, but that's what that is. Online mode, now this was interesting. This is a very even split. As you can see, SSX3's mode wins out just slightly. I'm kind of surprised by that, to be honest, because I felt like that's a pretty bare bones way of having online, but we shall see what people are thinking about it. This is probably the one where most people went the most in-depth right here. Some people went pretty ham on this question. And I appreciate that. There are a lot of good ideas in here. You can see it for yourself. If you want. Snowboard Beat Up Royale. Should it have combos? Very landslidey. There's pretty much only one that's more of a landslide than that. And if you answer the survey, you probably already know which one. Games combo system, a lot of support for Free or On Tour on that one. All the other ones kind of make up a small minority. Should I have Uber tricks? Pretty unanimous. One person said no. So yeah, 263 to 1 on that one. Monster Trucks, I was surprised. I wasn't surprised people were in favor of them, but I was surprised to see it be this much of a landslide. 79%. That's a lot. About gear, about 2/3 of people don't want gear, so like a majority don't want gear, but there is a significant minority who don't mind gear and who do want it. So that's interesting. Whether it should have wingsuits, a lot of people were actually okay with wingsuits if you made sure they weren't broken, but still the majority did say no. Only a few said yes, regardless, 5% of respondents. Sure, autocomplete flips and spins, once again, pretty much a landslide there in favor of autocompleting. So not the old style in that way, having to pre-wind everything. Should there be a money system was a very even split once again. It seems like most people think it should be for cosmetics and gear and just silly and fun items basically, and they don't want it necessarily tied to game progression, which is interesting. I'm kind of surprised by this one personally. Game mode character creation as an option was pretty even. As an option, people seem to be in favor of it, but this is kind of a split one. A lot of people probably don't think it's worth the hassle, most likely. The open world design of SSX Free and On Tour absolutely wins out. There's no real debating it. 89%. Regarding Tricky and Super Uber, most people think it should be like in 3, where it lasts a certain amount of time, then it goes away. Some people also think that it should go away only if you fall or reset or fail somehow. So that's interesting. Actually some people say it should stay regardless too, 15%. So that's kind of like in Tricky there. Characters should improve by getting stat points by placing well in events, apparently. That's what the minority thinks anyway. And some people, well, a lot of people also think you should buy stat points with money, and that's how you improve your rider. Shreds, the support for shreds was quite overwhelming, but only for money and fun is the final verdict of the people here. Some people think it should be tied to progress, most don't. Skis, a very controversial one. I'm not surprised to see skis in the minority, but it is quite even. So a lot of people seem to enjoy the skis as well. Natural hazards, a lot of people were in favor of an SSX free style. Not too surprising there. About rewinds, most people say they shouldn't be in the game. Some people are apparently okay with the idea if the player is punished for using them, and some people, a small amount, are also okay with not penalizing the player whatsoever. About story, a small majority of people say there should be a story. Doesn't matter how badly written it is. Maybe add some depth. This is another question I added in, knowing it would pretty much be a landslide. 98% in favor of a DJ. I'm not surprised by that. And final question regarding the geotags is that it's a small majority are want to have geotags back so that you can leave them behind and other players can pick them up, maybe get money or get cosmetic items or whatever a geotag would award. So yeah, that's basically the entire survey ran through. So let's go to the little end scene. Well, there you have it, everyone. The ideal SSX game as per the community's opinion right now. So, thank you everyone for taking the survey. I appreciate it a lot. I knew I would get a fair few answers, but like I said in my last video, I had no clue as many people would take it as you know, as they have done. There's been an insane amount of responses to look through, and some people truly went in depth as well, which I very much appreciate. It's nice to see a lot of people are passionate about possibly having another SSX game and basically trying to make the best of that. So yeah, if you have any constructive criticism regarding survey writing, since this was my first time writing a proper survey, and I might do more of this in the future, this might become like a yearly thing or something something to that effect. I'd really love to hear what you have to say about it. Hopefully the survey options kind of fulfilled the job that they needed to do. I know, when you have to make a survey, you have to make compromises between like efficiency and how long it would take a person to actually take the survey, and compared to, you know, actual accuracy and fairness of the question. But I tried to strike a good balance, and hopefully I did that. Hopefully you enjoyed the survey, and maybe you're looking forward to more in the future. Maybe SSX Community Survey 2019 will be a thing. So yeah, that'll do it. Hope you've enjoyed this little experiment. It's been a long time coming. I don't really have any excuse for not having done this earlier. I just didn't get around to it. That's my fault entirely, but we're finally getting around to it now. So that's going to do it. Thank you all so very much for watching. Have an absolutely bang up rest of your day. Take care and goodbye.